All right, everybody, let's get started. Welcome to Stunned and Confused, a podcast about Marvel Champions, the card game. I'm your host, Jesse, or Krautbammer, and I am joined, as always, by my friend, my co-host, the Colossus card to my Piotr's Studio. God, I tried it so many times. Piotr's Studio. Joe, how are you tonight?
Dude, honestly, that was great. I loved it.
Thank you. I tried to find an art thing because we're getting Artsy Fartsy tonight.
Artsy Fartsy.
I thought, like, oh, Colossus, I remember his little painting.
Art?
He does art stuff. So you ready to get Artsy Fartsy tonight?
Heck yeah, dude.
Well, we couldn't do it alone because I'm not a very good artist. I don't know about you.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so
I draw some mean stick figures.
We had to bring a special guest in to help us out. So to get Artsy tonight, like I said, we have a special guest. He is the Rembrandt of Champions Alt Arts. He's the Banff to my Tally-Ho. Mein Freund, Tony, a.k.a. Nightcrawler. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm not much of an artist myself, so I have to, like you should see my stick figures. So that's not great. So, but yeah, thanks so much. I'm stoked to be with you guys tonight.
Yeah, super excited to have you. So you can't actually draw and stuff like that. You just steal other people's art and know how to paste them on a card.
Just make it sound awful.
No, I mean steal was the wrong word there.
You steal people's artwork.
Appropriate, whatever.
Yeah. Well, we are going to talk about card art tonight. This is an episode, Joe, I feel like we've had in the revolving door of things I've wanted to talk about for a long time.
Yeah, I think we've always been talking about art.
Yeah,
we'll do an art episode.
I've always wanted to do an art episode, but it felt right to have a good guest on for an art episode because nobody wants to hear me talk about Smooth as Silk anymore, right? Like nobody wants to do that. So
yeah,
you just brought it up.
I'm tired of it.
So it's good to get a fresh set of eyes on some art. So Tony, just tell us who you are in the community, what you do, some of the stuff we know you from, and things like that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so I'm not really, incredibly involved in the community. I have been, on Discord for a handful of years now. I started the game a while back, but I guess the thing I've recently become known for is I have been starting to make some alt arts, some with heroes as well as a whole bunch of villains. So that's kind of my main thing that I've gotten, a little bit known in the community. But beyond that, I'm kind of quiet in most of the channels all the time. So
yeah, but
a busy life.
I get that. But just recently, you put out there into a lot of the different communities on Reddit, things like that, is the double-sided villain artwork project you'd been working on for a while, right?
Yeah, it's been about an 8 maybe 9 month progress. I started it and I just released it. So it is a complete set of every villain in the game, and that's every villain from every scenario. So even the multi-villain scenarios, there's every villain in there. The thing that I've loved most about it though is that each of them are double-sided. So kind of like the promos they did for some of the villains, they only ever did standard. So there's a stage 1, stage 2, but these are all one card for stage 1, stage 2, and one card for stage 2, stage 3, or whatever the scenario is. So like you get an A1, A2, B1, B2, or A and B, or, it really depends on the scenario, but they're all in there. It's, it was a blast. It was quite a task to put together and to work on for so long, but
I tried to make just one alt art, and you basically had to just take it over and redo it for me. So I couldn't imagine doing one for every villain. And you obviously have a keen eye for art because, I mean, Joe, I don't know about you, but it's just banger after banger in there
I
to me.
I do love them all.
They're all so good.
I do love that they 2 to 3. I love that. I think that's cool. You just flip it.
Yeah, that's been so awesome just to be able to, go to the table with one card and, one villain card and not have to. I don't know. I know it sounds simple and kind of silly, but man, I love it. I love just having the one card and just flipping it over and you're good to go. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
it's also weirdly saved a ton of room in my box, my villain box. Again, it sounds silly, but there's so many of them that like if you remove one sleeved card from each of those, because honestly, what I've done with most of my official ones is I've just put them aside in a box on their own, and because I prefer these now. I like the art, but also because of the convenience sake. So they've been fun to. It's actually saved some space too. So.
Do you play mostly expert? Like, do you just keep the expert card in there, or do you play standard sometimes as well?
keep them both in there. I'm definitely primarily expert.
Okay.
I'm in New Mexico, and there's a small group here that they have this weird thing that they love called commercial breaks. So they just take their expert cards and they flip them backwards. And so it's just a blank card when it comes out. And they all kind of cheer and go, commercial break, and it means like nothing happens,
Yes. You sent me a couple of those. It's like you
Yeah.
called it expert something, expert zero or
Expert
something like that?
zero.
Yes. Those
And
are so
essentially,
fun. Yeah.
So for a long time, they just put the card backwards and then they'd kind of cheer and they'd play expert. A lot of time, the expert villain, so stage 2, 3. But instead of throwing the expert cards in, they'd throw their cards backwards. So when I started doing alt arts, I was like, man, for my local group, I gotta make an official like
Expert
set for
zero.
them. Yeah,
That's cool.
So, but yeah, honestly, I typically do regular expert. But I do play a lot with my 7-year-old. And so when I play with him, it's either skirmish or standard. So we haven't really delved into the expert stuff yet, because it's just, I find it enough of a fun challenge to play with him and like let him make the choices and then try and survive through those choices sometimes.
That's parenting in a nutshell. I don't know if you know that, but you're not just describing Marvel Champions there. That's just life.
Yeah. No, it's
Let him
been
make the
such
choices,
a cool thing to enjoy
and
with
then we
him,
survive through them.
Yeah, I play
exactly,
skirmish with my kid, and he always just picks the cooler artwork cards. So this is kind of on point right now. But
There
if
you
the
go,
artwork looks cool, he's like, I'm playing this card. I'm like, yeah, but like, it ain't gonna do anything.
Yeah.
Get him on the mic. Well, cool.
Yeah, my son's recent deck has been Bucky.
Yes.
He's been playing Bucky. Yeah, I had to say it, but no, he's been playing him, and it's been great because it's like you can just do all the attacking, but at least you're contributing to thwart some.
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it works out great. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, so we'll do a whole art episode. We'll go through our normal list of stuff that we do. Flavor Town, some intro questions for you just to get to know you, even though that's kind of what we already did.
Some of that,
some rapid fire stuff, and then we'll talk about your content that you made. We'll continue to talk about some of the alt art stuff that you got going on, and then we'll give our top 5, 10-ish favorite and least favorite art pieces in the game. This is going to be interesting because I don't know. You also told me like you're not a art hater, right? Like you don't have that many pieces you don't like. Joe's the same way. So
yeah,
I'd say,
dude, I'm struggling.
Well, honestly, like we have an embarrassment of riches, with this game. Like the art is so phenomenal that like, man, it's like there's nitpicks here and there, and there's certain ones that are notoriously, rough,
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, man, pretty good, There's some that are really good, but there's some that are just pretty good, I don't know.
Yeah, but that's okay. I can be the villain. I'll bring the hate.
Yeah,
I can bring the hate. You guys can tell me why I'm wrong. That's okay too.
I'll mention a couple, but
Very cool. All right. Without further ado, do you want to? You said you had some flavor towns prepared. Would you like to take us there?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's go.
Hey everybody, I'm Guy Fieri and we're rolling out looking for America's greatest diners, drive-ins, and dives.
This trip, it's a first-class ticket to Flavortown International.
You can ask away whenever you're ready.
Okay, I was waiting for the jingle. What the heck? No, I'm just kidding.
We actually insert it in post. Don't tell them.
What? That's no good. Come on.
I can try to get it pulled up real quick. No.
All right. So you wanted me to direct them at each of you guys, though, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. So Joe, I got one for you first. I was told to give you a bit of a softball. So,
God.
You can cut that out.
We'll cut that. No.
All right. So here it is. It's I'll be back.
Gross.
I'll be back. The Terminator? Did you make a Terminator alt art that we're not aware of?
No, that's what I'm thinking. No. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I want to think of a Quicksilver, but I don't know.
One of my favorite heroes, but no.
No, gosh, I'll be back.
Can we narrow it down?
Oh, dude, is it Bishop?
Go ahead.
No, I don't know.
It's very thematic to me being on tonight. Let's just say that.
Come on, Joe.
What, you know, Jesse?
Of course I know. I'm not frantically searching.
No, suck. You suck. It's gotta be. I would think Nightcrawler.
It is. No, what is it?
Yeah, it's in Nightcrawler. It's not on his card, but it is in Nightcrawler's kit. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember. It's one of his. Is it Banff?
Nope.
No. Darn. Is it one of his events though?
Oh, it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense when you know it. My God, it's so
you're
obvious.
just looking up, you cheating?
I did. I looked it up. I cheated. Sorry. This was yours.
Yeah, this is yours, so it's all good.
This is how bad we are at it.
No, dude. Oh, man, I'm terrible at this. I narrowed it down to Nightcrawler. I'm proud of myself.
So to
Yeah,
be
you did.
back, you have to like maybe
Yeah,
go away.
you gotta go somewhere else and then come back. Maybe you just don't know his kit
Dude,
very well, man.
I just don't know his card names.
He ports away.
Yes, it is port away.
It's so funny when you pick these out because you're like, oh, this one's going to be so easy. And then you give it. And you're
Yeah.
like, now that I just
you
gave
give
that,
it to
he
me, and
has...
Joe just doesn't know.
No,
don't
I'm
know.
the same way. I'm the same way.
All right.
Man. Okay.
You ready for one more?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So this one is tricky. I will give you a heads up. Well, let's see what you can do. Tally ho.
Is it Tally Ho from Nightcrawler?
It is not. That is why it's tricky.
Is it the Nightcrawler Protection Ally?
No, but that's a good guess. It is
Okay.
from the same. I think it's from the same box because I'm pretty sure he came in the main Mutant Genesis box. So it is from Mutant Genesis.
Is it Change of Fortune?
No, I don't know if you're gonna get it, man. It's a really weird one.
I don't know you're gonna get it, man.
Man. Okay, tell me, is it a hero, like a player card, or is it like a villain card?
It is a player card, but not one you can regularly use.
It's a campaign card?
Yeah,
That's a deep cut, dude. That's a
It
deep
is.
cut.
it is. I just thought it was. Yeah. So do you want to guess, or you just want me to tell you now that you know that? Because I'm sure you. I don't know if you know many of them.
This is the Wolf's Bane now, and that's not even campaign. That's from
No.
Project Wide Awake.
It is a quote from Nightcrawler, and he is the art.
Ooh. All right, give it to us.
It has to be one
It
of
is
those
from
roll
Coup de-
card
Coup
things.
de Grace. But it's
Coup
from.
de Grace.
But there is a coup de grace that just came out.
Not the
recently.
aggression card.
No, it's a campaign card from Mutant Genesis with Nightcrawler on it, and it says "Tally Ho" is his quote, and I just thought it was funny because it's not the Tally Ho card. But
I
so
love
zero cost upgrade, coup de grace, wild resource, skill traded, hero interrupt. When you attack, this attack deals 3 additional damage and gains overkill. Remove this card from the game and the campaign pool. I don't know if anybody's ever done a campaign card on this before, but
That's a first, I think, for us, Joe.
Yeah, I don't
right?
remember. Yeah, I don't remember doing any.
so
Damn,
deep
that
cut.
was
But I thought it was a fun Nightcrawler quote.
that was expertly done. Great job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There you go.
that was
The
great.
art's good there. I really like the art. He's like jumping through an explosion. I like
Yeah,
that.
it's some fun art too. Yeah.
Do you play a lot of campaign?
No, I'm a once campaign guy. Well, that's not entirely true. I have a brother-in-law that I'm like epically slowly going through campaigns with. So that's like a second time, and then I've done like one of them with my son. So
Okay. But you're not regularly looking to play a
No.
campaign.
no,
Yeah.
I think they're interesting. I do enjoy the campaign modes a little bit more in the Lord of the Rings game. So
Yeah.
I play
Yeah,
Lord of the Rings.
is fun. I like that. They had little
Yeah.
cool things to it, little boons or whatever. That's fun.
Yeah. So
Joe, you're kind of a once through campaign guy too. You're not a big campaign person.
Yeah, no, once and done. I'm good.
It's kind of crazy though, because like there are some really fun. I mean, some of the cards are really like busted because like you get them as rewards, but like there's kind of some fun designs in there. I remember like for our X-Men '97 theme night, you like had me pull Morph out and stuff like that. It's like there's some actually neat stuff in the campaign cards. Just kind of wish.
there
I
is,
mean,
yeah.
I guess nobody's like breaking down my door telling me I can't use campaign cards outside of campaign. But anyway,
Yeah,
that
it still feels like I can't play them though.
feels like cheating. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I cheat more on the villain side of things, with like pulling stuff in that shouldn't be there. But sorry, that's
Yeah.
a bit off topic, but yeah.
We live off topic here. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, it does not matter.
Like the Zemo came out and he had that card that pulls like hero from your collection to attack
Oh
you,
my
you know?
God, such a
And
great card.
I keep that card in my games layer like all the time. Just I'm like, hey, I want a little extra surprise challenge possibly in this
Oh,
scenario.
you throw it
So I
in
just-
any villain you play? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I just throw it in as an
Okay.
extra card, and it's just a blast. It's like that's a fun surprise to see. So it's just
Yeah.
it's
That would have been
such a
cool
good
if they
card.
made
I
a
want to see it
modular
more
out of
often
that.
than I will play Zemo. You know? So,
Yeah. I like Zemo, but he can be just like a lot to sit down and play on a weeknight. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure.
Reluctant Foe. That's the card we're looking for.
Yep. Reluctant
It's an
foe.
attachment where you had to go pull a hero out of your collection.
They become a minion. Yeah, it's just so much fun. I'll throw it in whatever random scenario I want.
I'm with you, dude. That's a great card. I love that so much. Let me ask you this: Are you just taking Jubilee every time and killing her, or are you like doing a thematic? I'm just because I'm usually taking a Jubilee and killing her, but
Well,
sometimes I'll do a thematic thing.
honestly, I'll grab whatever's in my ready to go box, like because I don't want to go get a big box of heroes out and find something. So honestly, it's more often than not it's Nightcrawler, which
Yeah. He's 9 health.
pretty easy to handle too.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Cool.
I do Quicksilver, so it's same thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
9
yeah,
hit
he's
points,
9
one
health.
attack.
1/1/1.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. I didn't think about him.
Yeah.
Or Quicksilver. Well, you mentioned you play Lord of the Rings as well. I think one of the things that made me like actually buy into Lord of the Rings and play Lord of the Rings is the art. I hate to say this, but like to me, I think the art on Lord of the Rings is better than Marvel Champions. Not saying the Marvel Champions art is bad. I'm just saying Lord of the Rings art is so good, literally amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible. I think part of it though too is that there's not a lot of source content that they're pulling from. So
Right.
like with Champions, you get so much comic art that there's so many different interpretations of the characters. That
Yeah.
like you look at one hero kit and there might be like 6 different outfits, 6 different costumes they're wearing,
Yep.
within one kit. Where Lord of the Rings is like curated for that game. And so there's just such a consistency to the art and the excellence, but also the way it looks. Like it's consistent. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you there. Like, it's kind of shocking. Like, I just don't think you could even make that game. Maybe I'm wrong, but just like the amount of commission art for that game is crazy. Where it's like you
It's
said with
insane.
Marvel, you have a lot of stuff to choose from just from the get go with all the comic books. But Lord of the Rings,
Mhm.
it's pretty wild.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Joe, what do you prefer art wise? This is gonna be
That's
tough.
mean.
This
Yeah,
is
that's mean.
this is a mean question.
I mean, I'd probably agree that it's the Lord of the Rings, but like I have a lot of like really favorite ones in Marvel Champions. But
Yeah,
I think on the whole, I think Marvel Champions, Lord of the Rings just has a little bit more that I like.
Yeah, but I think like either game is just like man, there's just like you said,
I mean,
there's
there's
just
some
we
there's some
are
bad
having
ones,
embarrassment
though.
of riches. What's that?
Mhm.
There's some bad ones in Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
Like Denethor. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
And oof.
Wow, that's not a very Boromir thing of you to say, buddy. All right, well, we will get into some rapid fire questions for you, and then we'll talk about what we played recently, if that's okay with you.
No, absolutely not. Just kidding.
All right, show's over, guys. Thanks for.
peace.
How long have you played the game, and what wave did you buy in at?
Yeah, so I guess it jumps back to Lord of the Rings, but essentially in 2020, as everybody was, I was getting more into board games, my wife and I particularly, and we'd kind of discovered the whole co-op like genre of games for the first time.
Yeah.
And she's a big Lord of the Rings fan. We have like pretty much every Lego set for Lord of the Rings that's ever been made.
Do you
we're
have the
huge.
Rivendell set?
I don't, but
Oh, okay.
her dad does, and I built it with him, and he's collecting some of the bigger ones that he wants to give us. Like I've got Orthanc sitting on the desk with me right now,
Dang, that's
And-
an oldie.
and like all the minifigs from Lord of the Rings are right next to me too. So yeah,
so
it's
amazing.
she's just such a big Lord of the Rings fan. She always has been.
Yeah.
And so I found this Lord of the Rings game, this random card game, co-op game, and bought it for her for Christmas of 2020. And then actually, once we saw the rule book, it took me like 6 months before I finally committed to learn it so I could teach it to her. So I learned it through YouTube, and stuff. And we played like 2 or 3 games of it in a week, and she could care less. Like she's like,
Yeah.
whatever. And I fell in love. I was like, this is amazing. Like, what is this thing? So I like immediately appropriated the game. And then I had some buddies that at the time that they've both moved away now, but a couple guys that would come over every week, and we'd have dinner and then jump into a 3-player Lord of the Rings game for a year and a half or so. So, I mean, I was just all in on that game, but it was also when it was going out of print. So I was like collecting what I could when I could, so it's kind of a collection with holes in it and stuff. But yeah, so all that to say, after a bit, after a few years at my job, I started traveling more. And Lord of the Rings is not a game that I particularly like solo.
I can see that.
Like, and I don't have the brain power or the space to play 2-handed solo, and like
Yeah.
that's the way to play it. And I just very rarely do. So I was interested in Champions because I was a Marvel fan, but just hadn't taken the plunge. But then since I started traveling more, I was like, you know what? I bet I could like pick a little box and like play a couple scenarios in hotels and stuff, and like that'd be sweet. So I ended up it was in January of 23, so like a month before Gambit and Rogue came out.
Oh wow. Okay.
I was on a work trip and randomly stopped at a Barnes and Noble and picked up the core set, Red Skull, and Cap, I think. And so it was a pretty big start with him. And then I kept buying for about a year and a half before I collected the whole thing.
Man, you got in right before all the like scarcity stuff hit too. So
yeah,
that was a good time honestly, to get in.
It was a weird time because I travel, I was only traveling across New Mexico, but every time I'd go to a small town, I'd go into like the little game shop there, and like, man, there were so many shops that I would find that they'd say, I was like, do you have any Marvel Champions? Like, I don't think so. And then they'd go back, check their back stock room. They're like, oh, I've got a box of stuff. Like, yeah, you want anything? I'll sell you anything for $5. So I ended up getting like two of the campaign boxes I got for like $5-6. I was like, whoa, like blew my mind. I was like, oh, so
that's awesome.
Yeah, so it was kind of a scavenger hunt across the state of New Mexico trying to find, these tiny little game shops that no one was interested in this game. And, yeah, so it was kind of a fun. But yeah, it took me about a year and a half. I finally caught up, and
feels good to finally be caught up. So you're not having to like constantly be scrounging for stuff.
Yeah, well, and like you're checking out a deck on
Marvel CD,
MCDB, and I mix that up sometimes, but so you're checking out a deck on there online, and you're like, man, I got to switch out like 12 cards. Like that's half the deck, and then it's totally not even checking their deck out, so I don't know.
Yep. That's very funny because it's something like me and Joe have an episode coming up where it was like we're kind of tying our one hand behind our back as far as like deck building and stuff like that. And it takes me back to the days where you're like, I can't build this deck because I don't have this in this pack. And it's like,
well, yeah. And like Def Focus, man, because it took me so long. I think my last purchase was the Guardians box. And, it was like for so long with all the mutant stuff I had, I was like, man, I would really like that card. Like, it's such a sweet card that I can't use, but
definitely get that. All right. I think I know who your favorite hero is. So we like to flip it on its head. I'm going to ask you who is your least favorite hero.
Okay. Probably it's really, really tied probably between Spider and Magic. No, I'm just kidding. Just
for real. I'm like, I didn't even hear Magic.
I didn't even hear
Spider
Magic.
Yeah. Cyclops sucks too. No, I'm just kidding.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Yeah. Sorry. No, I think it's the standard kind of, I really don't like playing Valkyrie. I've seen her do great in multiplayer, but I'm kind of like you guys where I play mostly solo, and I just do not enjoy a game with Valkyrie. Like Hulk's kind of the same, It's just there's those heroes that just are so tough in solo. But I've seen some amazing stuff happen with 2 or 3 player with Valkyrie, like just handling every minion that comes out, and everybody else can do everything else because she can't. But
exactly.
I think when you get to higher player counts, you get to specify your role. It's like, man, she actually can be really sweet. So
yeah, it's like when you get to be like that niche minion slayer, she can shine. But other than that, it's like
I don't know. So it's probably Valkyrie, Hulk. It's funny because actually Hawkeye was one of my early favorites just because he was one of the few I had, and I was like, I liked the concept of him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's rough too, especially once you get into harder scenarios. So
yeah, he's rough, but he can still be fun. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have a lot of fun with Valk every time I break her out. But Hawkeye can still be fun.
Yeah. Speaking of my favorite hero, sorry, I know we weren't talking about that.
Oh, it's okay. I want to get to this actually because
it is a problem. You do have a problem.
Big time, buddy.
Yeah. Because I think just this week I passed 250 plays with Nightcrawler. So it's a problem. But,
Joe, I want to do a spot check real quick, if you don't mind. Joe, how many plays do you have with SPDR right now?
Dude, I'm only at 98.
Whoa,
okay.
He has over double your plays of SPDR.
Yeah, dude, I love
with Nightcrawler.
And he came out,
way after, right? Yeah,
way after, yeah. So it's nuts. I have a problem. I'll tell you. So
are those all wins? Do you know if you won, lost? Like,
are you
scooping up after the first villain phase?
No, they're definitely not. I had some issues with him early on trying to learn him and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm currently sitting at 68% win
That's
rate.
pretty good.
Oh, okay.
I've the only villain I haven't beaten in the game with him is Venom Goblin, which I know I can.
Ugh.
I need to try some other. I've only played like once or twice against Venom Goblin with him, and it hasn't gone well. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's Venom Goblin, so
I can't
you know
stand
it's
Venom Goblin.
generally not going to go well. But I've got a couple Ronin wins with him, which is fun, and a couple different aspects. So
That's
Yeah.
awesome. What about Nightcrawler, I guess, like ties you to, like, were you into the character before he came to Marvel Champions?
yeah, so I there's a few different things, I guess that kind of have to do with Nightcrawler. I guess first and foremost, a big part of it for me is I'm a Christian, so his devotion to God has always been really relatable and admirable to me. So like
Yeah.
I have to. That's a big piece for me.
Very cool.
Absolutely. But also, like when I was back in middle school, I was really into a game called HeroClix. I don't know if you guys have heard of that.
Yeah.
What did you say it was?
HeroClix.
Okay.
It's by WizKids. They also did like Mech Warrior, two of their big games at the time.
Okay.
But they're little models that have like a clicking base that the stats change as they take damage, which is actually a really cool gimmick for a Marvel game. But when I was actually multifaceted, is Marvel and DC, and it's one game where you can play as both characters or team them up together and stuff. So that was really fun too. But essentially, in middle school, I was into HeroClix, and I made a trade for a unique Nightcrawler, which was unique was the highest rarity at the time, and I think it still is. I don't really play the game anymore, but essentially, I got this unique Nightcrawler. I traded probably half my collection for, just because I thought he was super cool. But then I won multiple tournaments with him. I had this is again off topic, but I had a team that was Nightcrawler, Flash, and Green Lantern. And so it was
cool.
like
Dude,
Green
that's
Lantern
cool.
could like run you across the board and then drop Nightcrawler and Flash off, and then they could just go nuts and take people out. And then, yeah, it was a blast. But also right around that time is when X2 came out. So, back in the
Man, yeah, that was
so it was like
great.
X2. I was super into this game on HeroClix, and then his faith was important to me. So those three things kind of like
Tied you to the character.
Yeah, so I've always been super tied to the character. I've followed his comics off and on. When I'm reading comics, I read his stuff, but I haven't been. So yeah, that's kind of a
That's awesome.
overview of it.
So when we first got Nightcrawler in the game, was any part of you disappointed? Like, because to me, I also love Nightcrawler as a character, just from watching the old X-Men cartoons and things like that. But when he first came out, there was some jank there, and I think the community would more or less agree that there was a little bit of jank there. Were you disappointed at all when he came to the game?
Honestly, I wasn't. Cool. I remember picking him up with. I went with my son, and we played like 3 games together. It was like before he really understood the game much, but yeah. So we went to the store together, picked him up, played a couple games. I think the weird thing is like there's parts of his kit that I wasn't expecting. I still think it's the dumbest thing ever that you have to pay for a body part to attach to him. What the heck? Like, there's no other character that you have to like. Yeah, let me attach my tail now. You're like, what the heck?
So the tail of the Nightcrawler.
Yeah, I mean, Bucky doesn't count because it's supposed to detach, but it's like it's
true.
just crazy. And with Bucky, you can get it. I don't know, automatically. I don't know. It's just that's still really dumb to me. And then Day Tripper was a really weird kind of voice. I thought like I honestly didn't know too much about her at the time. I looked into her more now, but it was just one of those things where I was like, I don't know, like why is that his signature ally? And why is she not an X-Men? Because like that was the other thing. I was like, that turns off all your.
Yeah, I don't know how many times I played her,
weird.
like in Readied with Utopia, before I realized she wasn't an X-Men. I'm like, oops, I've been playing that wrong for like months.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say I was disappointed. There's a few things that I was like, that's kind of strange, but other than that, I had a blast. With a Day Tripper recursion deck was like my first go-to that I played a ton of. That. Yeah,
I mean, because mechanically she's good.
Yeah, she's great. She works great in his kit. It just seems kind of random and out of left field, So, but yeah.
So 200 plays with Nightcrawler. That is just literally insane. That is crazy.
I just hit 250 this week. Yeah.
250.
Yeah.
Oh man. Dang. Who's number 2 behind Nightcrawler?
It's actually Cyclops.
Is it like 10 plays?
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm just kidding. No, Cyclops. So I've got like Cyclops up at where's he at? So I've got like 69 with Cyclops.
Dang. Nice.
And like 61 with Bishop. So there's a couple that have up there, but I mean, nothing compared to
The
Nightcrawler,
man,
of course.
the goat.
The man.
Yeah. The Bamf, yeah.
The Banff.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I even need to ask this question, but who's your favorite tribe in the game?
So it's interesting. So it is X-Men.
Okay.
I'm just a big fan. I mean, 90s kid, going through all that. But I think, and they just have so many cool tools and so many, fun things to kind of interact with each other. I think it's a blast. I think it's kind of when the game was like, not that it's fallen from its height yet at all, but I just mean like it's when it really hit its stride.
Yeah.
That it was
agree.
like, oh, we
Yeah.
know how to make all of this really interact in a really cool, unique way. I think kind of a follow-up secondary might be Guardians for me, which is kind of the opposite, where like they're very different and like they don't have half the stuff that all the teams have, like they don't have a research generator. They don't have, there's certain things, but I think they're so unique that I have a lot of fun with the Guardians too.
Cool. I like
Has
that.
to be X-Men because Nightcrawler and all those other things. Honestly, when I'm playing Nightcrawler, I'm not really doing much X-Men stuff.
Yeah, I
But-
could see that. He has a
Yeah.
very X-Men insular, like Cyclops obviously wants Utopia, Magneto wants Utopia, and all the X-Men allies and stuff like that. Whereas like Nightcrawler doesn't have to have that. It feels like.
Yeah. Well, and I guess that's another thing. So like early on, I played a ton of leadership with him because I liked that Day Tripper recursion. And then but primarily like 120 of those plays are in protection now. Because
Damn.
so I mean, most of it's protection. There's actually more aggression than leadership now too, because firepower was actually really good for Nightcrawler. I had a blast with playing firepower with him.
Yeah.
And then protection is just, there's so many intricacies that I think that people don't even realize with him in protection, that like just unique things he can do. And Excelsior has really helped him a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you can get that third sword. So that's pretty sweet.
3 swords, just like the
Yes,
X-Men.
Exactly.
Yeah, I actually played your firepower Nightcrawler deck and had a lot of fun
Mhm.
with that. So yeah, definitely big agree on that.
Yeah.
Okay, last couple questions. Any other hobbies you enjoy? Anything you want to shout out before we get talking about champions again?
So as far as hobbies, very similar to you guys. Champions has honestly kind of eaten away at most of my other hobbies.
Yeah.
I know you guys have talked about that some in the show before. And so, yeah, they've kind of just dissipated. Like I play a little video games. I know, Jesse, we talked in the past about Borderlands. My wife and I are big Borderlands fans. So
Heck yeah.
we've
Great
played ridiculous hours in Borderlands 2 together. And then 3 and now into 4. But we had a newborn back in the fall. So we kind of fell off of that pretty quick. But
That puts a big hamper on your video game time.
Yeah,
It definitely
yeah.
does.
Yeah, so that's yeah. But I guess video games. I do like reading a lot, so I do a lot of reading. That's one thing that's still there. So yeah, but
Yeah, it sucks. Like as much as like I love to read, like it's all become like audiobooks for me. Which I know some people are like that's cheating. I'm like, yeah, but I have a commute to fill up, so it's like
Yeah.
it's nice to have a book every now and then.
I did a lot of audiobooks when I was traveling for work a lot. I'm not doing much of that anymore, but
Yeah.
So now I do a lot of actual reading as well.
Actual
but,
book reading.
But man, it's just Champions is so, there's so much depth to it and so many different
yeah.
options that, man, it's like
Every day I go to work and my coworker's like, you need to watch this new show I'm watching. I'm like, I can't because Sabretooth v She-Hulk is set up on my deck right now and I can't think about
Right,
anything
yeah.
else.
of course. Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. Last question, and this was a user requested question, which is always fun, but how do you store your Marvel Champions collection?
So yeah, I have a little tiny shelf in our office at the house, and it's actually an old TV stand that's not for a TV anymore. And I try and keep it all there so it's out of the way of the rest of the family and,
Yeah.
trying to not get in the way from everything else. So I use mostly BCW cardboard boxes. I have like one big one that's got all my heroes and aspect cards, and then one for mods and one for villains, and then one for sleeve boxes and other random stuff. One thing that I do that's probably, I don't know how people would feel about it, is I keep all of my heroes unsleeved.
Ew.
And then I sleeve them before I play with them. But I have the hero card sleeved, and then I have their Nemesis set and obligation sleeved, but their actual kit I keep unsleeved.
Hmm.
And then I switch the sleeves out when I'm going to play a hero for a while. So
Okay.
it saves space in the box, but also saves on money for sleeves was the initial idea, and space in the box. So I don't know, but
It's all smart, but ew.
yeah, I know it is. It's a little dangerous, probably too. It's like,
I
you know.
probably I am extremely cheap. Like we've talked before, I'm just so stupidly cheap. It's ridiculous. I probably would have done the same thing if I didn't get that like insane sale on sleeves when they were selling off Keyforge. I don't know if you remember that. Asmodee had a game called Keyforge, and they just had plain black sleeves that apparently were Keyforge that they sold off on like pennies on the dollar.
Okay.
Now I have 8,000 sleeves to use up.
Dude, yeah, you bought double than I did.
Yeah, I panicked.
Yeah. No, so that's mainly how it's worked. And then I guess I do have a games layer. So, I really like the games layer. That's just such a well-made thing.
Yeah.
I love that the token silo trays fit perfectly in all the different compartments. So it helps to kind of more gamesgenic stuff, but those token silos help you sort everything. And then I use the burger token perfect fit boxes to keep my hero decks. So they're like, so they're all segmented, all pretty and nice
You
in
do
there.
exactly what I do.
Yeah, you and Joe are kindred spirits. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you sort alphabetically or by release order inside your boxes?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I think I'm kind of a mix, and that's also probably a problem.
So
wait,
glad
it just
we started
changes
asking.
up halfway through. Is that what you're saying?
No. So all my heroes are alphabetical, but then my villain, and so my heroes and mods are all alphabetical, but my villains are in release order.
Okay.
I don't know why. It's just always been that way. So
I'm so glad we started asking this question because there's just like some weird stuff out there, Just crazy stuff.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like it's funny because it's they're their own thing. I think it's just because I like playing in a campaign. I don't play the campaigns, but I play like through a box a lot of the time. So I like having like those 5 heroes or those 5 villains right there.
Yeah,
those 5 scenarios. Sense. So I think I'll grab like 5 at once and throw them in my games layer, and then I'm good to go. Like I rarely pick and choose a random villain here and there, but mods I like to switch up. So
okay, so like you'll play through a campaign box without the campaign setting. You'll just play that set of 5 villains. Okay.
Yeah, I tend to like to stick within a thematic set of villains. So
cool, very cool.
Yeah.
All right, real quick, before we get into your content and some art cards, any games you guys want to talk about, Joe? Any notable games you want to talk about you've been playing recently?
Shoot, no, I've just been playing Iron Man actually.
Heck yeah, we got a episode coming up.
Domino.
Yeah, like I said, we had a episode coming up where we like going to have some like deck building restrictions, and that got really annoying. So I like went and I was like, well, who's like kind of just like a mid hero that like I hadn't played in a while, and like let me just get a sanity check here and see if like is Sabretooth actually kicking my ass or is this like like a skill issue? And I went and grabbed Rogue. Dude, Rogue is a ton of fun. I forget how good Rogue is. She's got kind of a little bit of everything, like stuns, confuses, overkills, extra damage, retaliate. She feels kind of like Vision in a way where she's just got like an answer and a little bit of everything. And man, I had an absolute blast with Rogue. I think I'm excited to play like more Rogue after that deck. I'm still on like a 1-track mind of getting through all the heroes, and so I put it away. But I am really excited to play more Rogue in the near future.
Yeah, I think I've played a handful of her, but I've never. I think part of it is I was dissuaded by her based on some of the stuff that seemed better in multiplayer. Yeah. But like I was like, I'll hold off and play her more if and when I get a chance to play multiplayer more. But yeah.
There's definitely like 2 or 3 cards that just absolutely work better in multiplayer, but I think they did a good job of like kind of threading the needle of like she can do some wacky multiplayer stuff, but also works in solo. I just feel like she got kind of a lukewarm reception because, she wasn't this like power absorbing sandbox that people wanted, but man, I still think she's a super fun hero.
Yeah, I guess for me, I've been doing some homework. I'd let you know about this a little bit, Jesse, but
yeah,
I have very few plays with Magic and Spider. Honestly, if you have over 250 plays with one character, you're gonna have a lot with very few.
Just please tell me Spider beats Magic.
Oh,
no, not quite. So
yes, let's go, let's go.
So after the last like 2 weeks, I've done a little bit of homework and playing them so I could actually talk about them a little bit more. But I'm up to 7 plays with Spider now. But I was
you're
playing
professional.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I understand it just as well as Nightcrawler now. No, just kidding. But yeah, so I've been playing her in protection. I think the biggest thing I've noticed is just the difference between whether you get some interface upgrades early or not. It's like,
Yeah.
man, it's a slog if they're buried in there and you're trying to get some out. It's like that was tough.
Oh yeah.
You get Host Spider early and it starts to sing.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean when you get those upgrades early, it's a blast. Another note, real quick, is just that I really liked the simplicity for her, and your turns are a little bit quicker because you're like, okay, I got 3 cards. Like there's a little bit, there's some ways to get some card draw and some different
Yeah, you
things
know
like
what
that
you're
that
gonna
helps.
do instantly. You're only gonna do one thing, maybe, or two.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, my turn's gonna go quick. This is gonna be sweet, So that was fun. And then Magic, I'm up to 9 plays with, so they're close.
Yes.
They're only 2 off.
Boom.
They're not that
I
crazy.
haven't broke 10 with either.
Buckets.
No, not
That's
yet,
2
not yet,
above
not yet.
SPDR.
Yeah, right. So,
Two.
yeah, but I was playing mainly the Schmendrix is, to me, my Hexman build essentially.
Okay.
So I was altering some of the allies, but man, to me, my X-Men, knowing what's on top of your deck and just like, oh, I'll pay 1 to get it and then get it as a card in my hand at the end of my turn, it was insane. So, but kind of the opposite, I think, for Magic from Spider, though, is like Spider's pretty simple as far as knowing what your hand's going to do. And then I know you've talked about it some, but Magic is like 3D chess where you're like, oh gosh, like I could do 12 different things right now and I don't know which one's best, So take some time to kind of think through those turns and figure that out. And then I'm up to 5 Bucky plays. So I did a bit more Bucky. So I know.
Boom.
Again, I have a problem. I already mentioned that. So
I'm gonna get him an honorary Stunning Confused badge because that's hilarious. he made sure to play Bucky, Spider, and Magic before he came on.
Yeah, right. I had to, and honestly, I've played all of them like at least 3 or 4 times in the last week or two. So I mean, they were almost at nothing prior to that. So,
Oh my gosh.
but yeah, Bucky, I think the one thing note from playing him is just that arm block, I think, is one of the most satisfying cards to play in the game. Like it's just
Preach it.
it just feels so good every time you play it. It's like, yeah. Like I don't know. It's sweet.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
it's been my homework for the last couple weeks.
Joe's SPDR
Yeah, we send
turns.
out homework before you get on the show, y'all.
Wait, was that a joke? No, I was kidding.
No, I'm just kidding. So
I didn't actually have to play all these. Gosh,
no,
what the heck?
Cutting into my Nightcrawler time.
you do have to play Magic. You don't have to play any of Joe's favorites.
God.
Okay.
No, Joe's SPDR turns are my favorite because he just looks at his cards and then he just throws them all away. Says, "I do 20 damage. Take it away." It's like
Wait, what?
peak.
How? Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, it's like you don't need to know how SPDR does SPDR things.
Yeah, dude, I just don't even unready things. I'm just like,
Yeah, you just
my
know
turn's done.
the
Yeah.
sequencing. Yeah, that's funny. Is it similar for Quicksilver with you?
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, there's just too
Yeah,
many
yeah.
there's too many readying and unreadying and readying and like
For sure.
flipping friction resistance. I'm like, nah, dude, I just
Oh
do
yeah.
15 damage. We're good. Moving on.
Yeah, just do
Yeah,
it.
he's like Zach Galifianakis in like the scene where he's counting cards. Like all the
Yeah,
that
dude.
All the-
fancy math
yeah.
is like scrolling through his head, and he's like 7 thwart and 10 damage. Do it, and I'm like, okay. I'm just like
Okay,
scrolling
sure.
little Will.
I guess I'll trust you.
Yeah.
That's funny.
All right. Well, let's jump into just talk about some of your content that you made recently, and then we will give some top whatevers for our top and bottom arts. When did you start making custom content? And did it start with all arts or homebrews?
We started with custom content on Thursday, May 23rd, 2024 at 9 a.m. Central Time. No, sorry, I lied.
What is this,
Mountain Time.
Skynet? Like, what is
Let me
this?
try that again. I started with alt arts on Thursday, May 23rd, 2024 at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Were you at Con of Heroes?
No, this was the date of the Nightcrawler article.
Oh, was it?
It was
Wait,
9
you were like,
a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So the Nightcrawler article came out, and after analyzing it, we realized there was only 4 cards missing. So I was like, how do I do this? I know people do this. And so I found Photopia and opened it up, and I was like,
hilarious.
and I built out 4 cards and a Nemesis set, and I started playing Nightcrawler that day. I was like, you know what? Like, let's do this. So
That is so cool.
and I will
Dang.
say, so those are separate from my 250 plus plays, because I do have because I use an Excel doc for all my stats.
Yeah.
And I have a Nightcrawler (C) for custom Nightcrawler that I have games logged with him, because it's, I threw a couple I gave him 2 cutlasses that were separate, and I actually called it, Kurt's Cutlass and Kurt's, or I called them both Kurt's Cutlass, actually, just rather than Kurt's Cutlasses. It was funny that it was so close to the actual one. But
Huh. Yeah.
similar effects, but they stacked. If you had more, it was like, okay, if you have 2, you get these additional benefits. If you have 1 copy, then you get this,
So you kind of just guessed at the 4 remaining cards and built
Yeah, I
them.
guess there were 4 remaining because it wasn't much, and then I made up my own Azazel because I was like, it's got to be Azazel, like he's got to be
Yeah.
the nemesis, I kind of figured that out, and yeah, so I just started playing because I was like, well, we know most of the cards, I can at least get an idea of how he runs. But
Yeah.
I think it's funny that I can nail it down to the hour that I started with custom contests.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
I was like trying to think like what style. I was like, oh, an article. That is so funny.
Yeah,
That's cool. And so you started by making Nightcrawler alt arts. When did you kind of start to do, because you do a little bit of homebrew stuff. I know you like for your son, you made a Captain Underpants, which is like super
Yeah.
cute. It's super cool.
Yeah.
When did you kind of, I know there's a huge homebrew community in Discord, and I
Yeah.
kind of look through there and see all the amazing stuff that people do. But when did you kind of decide to have a go at that?
Well, honestly, I was doing some of this homebrew already with the Nightcrawler, making up 4 cards, which wasn't like really like full on homebrew, but I was doing that on the computer and at home. And so my son come in and see it. He's like, "What are you doing?" And he was like, and then there was one day he asked, he's like, "Is Captain Underpants in the game? Can I play Captain Underpants in Marvel Champions?"
He's about to be.
And I was like, you know what? Sure, let's do this. So we started kind of coming up with and designing it. And man, I'll tell you that first version of it was so janky. It played horribly. It looked really bad. But I've kind of tinkered with it since then. I know one of my favorite things about the Captain Underpants custom hero I built is that he can't flip like a normal hero. If you're Principal Krupp, you can't flip to hero unless you get George or Harold, and they exhaust to snap, which flips him to Captain Underpants. And then Captain Underpants can't flip back to Krupp unless you squirt him with a squirt gun that you get on George or Harold. And
That's
so it's
awesome.
but it's actually kind of a fun. But at the same time, if you have the whole engine set up, then you can like flip both ways every turn. Like you
Very
can
cool.
squirt him once and then snap him with the other guy, and so it's kind of a weird but fun and different feeling gimmick, to a
Yeah.
hero kit. So yeah, that's been a lot of fun. But honestly, it was just for my son. That's the primary reason. Now he wants me to make him a Paw Patrol one and a Dogman one. And yeah, he's interested. Really in anything he's into. He's like, "What about this? Can we do this?" I'm like, "I don't know, bud. Like, let's leave it with this for now.
Yeah,
but maybe
yeah.
at some point." So
It's like, do you understand your dad already has a trophy for Dad of the Year? Okay, he can't stack. He's got no more room in the trophy case. It's like, that is super cool, and it does look really, really cool. I want to go back a little bit to the villain alt art set you made, the double-sided ones that we talked about at the beginning of the show, and you said
Yeah.
it took you kind of 8 months to do this, and I know there's another community user by the name of Corbin who had kind of released a whole set of hero alt arts. And from what I gathered, he kind of helped you along in this situation, talking back and forth on alt arts. What's the process like selecting art, putting all the cards together? Just take me through kind of a synopsis of going from, okay, I've got to go do, whatever, Baron's Emo. Where do I go? How do I find
Right.
the art? And then what do I do?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess real quick, just touching on the stuff with Corbin.
Yeah.
A TM on Discord. Just real quick, after Boom Guy with Winning Hand, after they announced the alt arts that they were working on, and then they gave a bunch of them out at Con of Heroes 25, that's when I decided, I was like, man, those are so cool. Like,
Yeah.
serious FOMO. Just like, I'm not there. I wish I was there. I wish these are so cool. I decided, I was like, man, I have to build a Nightcrawler alt art for the next Con of Heroes. Like, I have to have one. I have to pass it out. And at this point, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it to Con of Heroes this year. That was the initial intent. I was like, man, if I make it, I have to have, an alt art of Nightcrawler to hand out. But I guess with the process, it's really evolved for me. Really kind of, like I said, most of the stuff I was doing was really janky at the start. But, I've learned a lot. So essentially, though, my process now is that I tend to start with Pinterest. So Pinterest is like my go-to for finding art. It's not the only source. I'll go check actual Marvel sites and other things too at times. But I start with Pinterest. I look for art options. I always make sure, if I can, to find like 4 to 5 different options that I think are decent. Just because you never know how it's going to look on the card.
Yeah.
It's also really important to have Hall of Heroes up, just because you want to ensure that you're not using something that's already in the game. Like,
Yeah.
especially like, so if you go to a villain card, an alt art, like they already use a ton of art of that villain from the comics in his whole like kit, So like in the actual scenario itself, you might have a really cool art that you're like, oh, I want to use that. And then later on, you might realize it's already in there. And I will say I've made that mistake a few times and had to change stuff up. But there's also a few in my villain set that I made that choice on purpose. So like a side note is that the hood, the art I used for the hood, there's so few that are good.
Yeah.
Like good quality, good resolution, modern, all that. And so I picked one that's actually on a side scheme, but it's a little different looking in the way it's cropped. So it works, I think. But it's the sort of thing where it's like, I just was like, you know what? I have to do, I'm just going to use this because it's so good and it looks good.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
So once I find the art, then I go into Photopia, which is, a free Photoshop essentially. I build out the card skeletons, the colors, the text, the stats, kind of build all of that to make sure it's right. Then I'll throw all the art options in and manipulate them and kind of see how they fit and work within the frame of the card. And then it's finally refinement. So after that, it's, grabbing flavor text if there's space for it. A lot of my villains, I tried to keep the text box the same size on all 3 arts for the different stages. And so many of them, there's so much less text on the first stage that I was able to throw a flavor text on it, so that sort of thing. But yeah, I guess, and that's one thing I guess with the villains just to note is that I mentioned it briefly, but talking and working with Corbin some on it, where while he was doing a hero set, I was like, man, there's some rough villains here. Like there's some of them that have very little to nothing available, one of the weird ones, I guess, would be Venom Goblin, because Venom Goblin has never been in the comics.
He's kind of a made up thing, isn't he?
Yeah, like there's been like close things, almost kind of like that, but never actually a Venom Goblin. So that's never happened in the comics. So there's no extra really art for it. So actually, what I did for Venom Goblin, and I found out later that it was similar to something on a side scheme, almost the same. But what I used art from the comic book campaign storyline in the rule book.
Ah, okay. Cool.
So I was like, you know what? There's a couple different framing pieces there. So I found one of him there, and I was like, oh, that works, So, but yeah, there's just some weird ones like that.
That's interesting. That like, you just think like all Marvel comic book characters whatsoever got to have like 1,000 pieces of art, but it's just not true for a lot of them because some of these are pretty niche.
Well, it's not just that. I think the biggest difference between doing hero alt arts and doing villain alt arts is villains don't have covers, and covers are where you get the most high quality, incredible art. And so villains don't get the cover art. And so they're like on a random panel, and they're much smaller, less high resolution, less detailed. And so some of them are really hard to find like a great image for, honestly. Yeah. So, but I think that's the big thing is like you can go through and look for textless covers of comics and find, 30 amazing things for Iron Man, obviously, but like, and then of course there's some of the scenarios that were just so rough. Like I almost gave up with the Marauders, honestly. Not gave up, but thought like, okay, I have to do 7 of these for one scenario for one. I was like, that sucks, but I almost gave up there because it was like you have, again, there's so much limited art for so many of them. Now, some of the Marauders turned out to be some of my favorites. I think they turned out really good of the villains I made, but man, they were tough.
Tough to find and make it look right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and actually one of my favorite stories about the process is actually Unis. So Unis is another one that's like not in anything. Like there's no comic art of him. If there is, it's like he's like one of like 50 of the Infinites, not a specific character really. And so what I did with that is like I actually reached out to, his name is Sebastian Guidobono. He's actually the artist that did the art for that scenario for Champions. I reached out to him on Instagram, and he was able to provide me the original full art of the card that was used for Unis.
That's so cool.
So So what's interesting about that is that like it's actually the same art. I flipped it because it fit better if I'm overlaying it, but it's art that was never released by Champions before. But then I talked to him, reached out to him, and he's able to provide me the art for the card in the full art version. So that was really sweet to be able to pull that one out because I was like, I don't know what to do with this guy, So
That's really awesome that you reached out
yeah,
to the artist and he was cool about it. That's
Yeah,
really
that
neat.
was
yeah,
neat.
that was pretty cool, pretty sweet.
So what's your favorite art piece from your villain set that you did?
I don't. There's a handful that I really like.
Yeah.
Weirdly, I think Batroc is one of my favorites.
Okay.
There's some, and he's not like I like him in the game and playing against him, but there's something about the movement of him specifically on the card. He has like these comic lines that kind of go over the stage number, and it just looks so dynamic and so cool.
Yeah.
So he's one I really like. Um, gosh, I hadn't thought about this too much, but
Yeah, sorry I sprung that one on you.
no, it's all good. It's all good. No, I was just there's a handful that I really do like a lot.
Yeah, I would invite anybody who has not went and found this. Like I said, I'll try to put this in the episode description where you can find it and things like that. But you go on Discord, in the homebrew Discord, the main Discord, on Reddit, you can pretty much find it wherever you look for it. But man, just really bottom to top, just amazing art pieces. They're not really that expensive to get them printed out either. I mean, it's like maybe, I don't know, $25 or so to get a full set of them printed out.
Yeah, I think it depends on where you go. The place I went, I know it's part of it depends on if you're going for because I did build out a foldable N1GHTCRAW73R
Oh,
that
okay,
through
yeah.
Print and Play Games you can actually get the foldable, and I have all the instructions on how to order it. And it's like kind of crazy expensive to get just a sheet of him, and also with him you have to get 3 play sets because it's a sheet that you need three different foldable cards for one play set. But in order to get the right sheet, you have to do it 3 times on one sheet. So you have to pay for them 3 times, and you're only paying by the sheet. But then there's like a custom charge for the foldable piece of it. There's all these little things. So that actually bumps up the price quite a bit. But I do think it looks really sweet. So I think it's fun. I did include N1GHTCRAW73R in a way that's on standard cards. So essentially, the way he's built in the set, if you go for the files that are the standard N1GHTCRAW73R, stage 1 and 2 are on opposite sides of one card, and then stage 3, or not stage 3, sorry. There's 3 sets. So Cyberpath and Biomorph are flippable. Stage 1, 2, and 3. So 3 different cards for each stage. And then Giant Form is on its own card. So my thought process
see.
is you have the one in the front to flip back and forth, and then you need to switch to the other card if you're going Giant.
Yeah.
So because I know some people don't like the foldable cards, and I like and don't like them. I mean, they're not the most convenient, but I think they are kind of cool.
I agree. I think they're cool, but I kind of sometimes don't like them.
Yeah,
I love N1GHTCRAW73R.
Yeah.
Joe, are you a foldable guy?
Am I a foldable guy? I mean, they're
Like, do you
alright.
like them?
I mean, I prefer the other ones, I guess. So no, but I like them.
Yeah, I know one of them I really like that I built in mine was Scorpion. I know it's weird because he's part of the Sinister
Sinister
Six.
Six.
I was really stoked about that whole set. I thought they turned out really good. But Scorpion has a cool effect where his tail like wraps over the top of the name box and then goes in front of the text box. So he's really fun. I just think,
Cool.
again, really kind of a cool way to break the frame in a fun comic booky way. And it's interesting because certain ones like that, like you can cover up the stage number because like the Sinister Six are only stage 1, like for all of them. So I was like, I don't, like certain times you're like, I don't want to cover up certain things that matter. Like you have to be able to see the stage number, like that's not, But that was, and also in Sinister Motives, the Sandman one I thought was really sweet too. He was a lot of fun. So I don't know. I had a
Very
blast
cool.
with it. I've had a blast using them myself. And if anybody else wants to, I hope you can. They've been a lot of fun. So
Yeah. And I'll say this, you talked about kind of starting this journey after Nightcrawler was announced, but like really wanting to, after seeing all the alt arts passed around at Con of Heroes and like wanting to be a part of that. I think that was such a huge thing for me as well. Like when I saw all the cool alt arts that people were posting online. Yeah, I think we talked about it, Joe. Like we felt like the Squidward meme where he sees like SpongeBob and Patrick having all the fun, and you're just like,
oh yeah, no, for sure.
So
Yeah.
with this, I selected like 20 or so, I think, here villains that I enjoyed playing and that I love the art of that you set up, and I've sent off for a proof of those. And I will be bringing some of those to the con, as well as some awesome alt arts that you've helped make for us as well, with our little Stunned and Confused logo as well. Huge thank you for that. It's been such an eye opener. Like, I'll send you something like, "Hey, does this look good?" And you're like, "No, it looks like shit." And you don't say that, but like you're like really nice about it, and you fix it and you send it back. You're like, "Here, now it's better." And so I'm very excited to be able to, like, just see your kind of mastery of alt arts in play and be able to kind of share some of that with the community. I'm also going to commit to, if you do not make the con this year, if there's someone out there, I can't do a bunch of these, but if there's someone who doesn't make the con this year and can't make a con, I want to send them 7 or 8 cards, whether they be villain cards or some of the hero alt arts that we make. So if you can't make a con this year and you would love some alt arts, write us an email and we'll kind of get in touch with you. We'll do like 7 or 8 cards and we'll send them your way. That way, Joe, we were those people a year ago.
Oh,
and now
yeah,
we get to
dude.
go.
Now
so,
I know. I'm pumped. I can't wait.
Well, yeah.
and now we can share the love a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was, like you said, I was in the same boat. I was like, man, those are so sweet. That'd be so fun to, get to play with those, But, and I guess, back to, I mentioned working with Corbin some.
Yeah.
Huge shout out to him and all of his help. Honestly, I was so green when it came to Photopia. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. There was things I could figure out and kind of, fudge my way through. But, he provided like videos he sent to me. It's like, screen grabs just to say like, hey, here's how you do this. Here's how you do this. Things that I have questions for. And then we were bouncing back and forth, ideas and thoughts, and getting each other's opinions on cards for the last 5 or 6 months for sure on a lot of these. And it was awesome to work kind of alongside him on his project. And I just think it's fun to get to have him. So I actually ordered a set of all of his. So now I've got all the heroes that he did, and a few of the official promos, and then my villains. So yeah.
Well, that's an awesome segue into our top arts, because it is such a thing where it's like good art just makes the game just feel that much more like alive and fun. Like, I get excited when like there's a good art on a card and I pull it opening hand, or like just getting to, now I've got 2 or 3 Nightcrawler alt arts thanks to you. Just getting to like sit there and pick out which one I want to play with and use. It gets me like super excited to play the game when it's good art on the table. Joe, what about you? What, you feel the same way about art?
I mean, it does. Yeah, I think so. Because there's one artwork that bothers me, and I don't like playing the character just because it bothers me.
Also gets you absolutely like jazzed to like, play the game. I mean, this, like as we talked about, it's a large part of why Lord of the Rings got me hooked.
100%. Yeah, dude. Sometimes playing some of them Lord of the Rings, they're so epic and beautiful that like, I feel like I'm on the journey or something.
Yep. Tony, I assume you're the same way, because you set out to make a whole villain art set because of, I'm guessing how much you appreciate art in the game and what it means to you.
So this is going to sound weird. I really do appreciate the art. And like I said before, the art we have in this game is phenomenal. But honestly, I get so wrapped up in a scenario a lot of the time, and so wrapped up in the game, that I'll find myself like playing many, many games without really looking at the art at all.
I agree with
I know
that.
that sounds
Oh,
weird.
yeah, 100%.
Like, and I particularly noticed this when we were starting to look at, when I was looking through so much of the art, like, what are my favorites, And I noticed things on specific cards. I was like, I never noticed that. Like, I've played that scenario so many times. So I was like, that's really unique about that card. Or like, I really like that. And not that I'd never noticed the art at all, but it's, not until you look at it with this sort of
I agree.
frame.
Like there's like 2 or 3
different
cards that you're like, obviously those are my favorite art pieces or whatever in the game. But like when you're trying to think of like a top 10 or whatever, and you're scrolling through, there's so many little pieces that you don't notice before.
Absolutely.
Well, cool. Well, we will give a few favorites and a few unfavorites. I've got 2 folks that don't like doing unfavorites, so maybe I'll just handle the favorites.
I don't mind doing it. I just don't have a ton that stick out.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know.
I got 3.
And I got 3. And then we'll wrap it up. Joe, I forgot to tell you this beforehand, but we will wrap it up on overall best hero kit art in general. So, Joe, if you want to think about that as we go through. I will start with one of my favorites. And I think it brings an interesting point here. Whereas like when art meets what the card does, and like when the action of like getting the card, drawing the card, using the card also gets you hyped, it makes the art just like pop that much more. So my first card is Energy Absorption from Captain Marvel. I don't think the art is anything just super outstanding, but it just gets me so hyped. It's just like the perfect art for this card. Energy Absorption is just her triple resource card, her triple electric resource card. And it literally looks like she's holding the sun in her right hand. Like she's absorbing the damn sun and she's about to fire it at somebody, right? Like she's upset and she's literally absorbing the power of the sun and about to throw it back at you. And you feel that when you get a triple resource. You're like, ooh, triple resource, it's time to lay down a Avengers Mansion. And then, you draw a card. But, or like it's meant to be, you put it for her upgrade and then you smack the villain big time with it. So this is one where like the art meets the hype of the card and it just equates to one of my favorite pieces in the game.
I will say that one was actually in consideration for me. I didn't put it on the ones to highlight, but I was like, man, that is really sweet.
Yep. Tony, why don't you give us one of yours?
Are we going in any order? Are we like doing a top order or just kind of throwing some out?
If you have them ranked, like if you have a number one favorite, I'd love to hear it. But I was just kind of throwing some out to highlight. But either way, It's cool with me.
I'll just throw some to highlight for now. I'll start with Nightcrawler. So my favorite, I think I looked at his kit and I was like, I have to pick one of them. I really like his whole kit, but Tally-Ho, I think is so cool. There's something about it. I will say that generally when looking at art and considering them, like I think the art matters itself. Like the art actually has to be good. But I also really appreciate like creativeness of the image placement, the overlays. And I think part of that's from doing all of this that I've done with some of the alt arts now. I really appreciate when they break frame or when they do something kind of different and unique. And then also colors matter a lot, I think. Like just if the colors pop, if they're unique colors or like, there's certain things about color, I think that really make something pop. But Tally-Ho, I think I just love the card. It's fun to play, but I've also liked that comic run in the past. It's really dumb and silly where that art's from because he's on a pirate ship in heaven where Azazel's attacking him and all the X-Men are there dressed as pirates with him defending. It's like these demons attacking heaven and he's using the X-Men and their help dressed as pirates to defend. So like
wonderful.
It's dumb, but it's a blast. It's one of those like this is comics, but
it's the Michael Bay movie of comics.
Pretty much, yeah. It's I mean, who doesn't want to see Nightcrawler defend heaven from demons attacking it with X-Men dressed as pirates? Like, what the heck, So
I'm there. Sign me up.
Yeah, it's great. So I love that card. I think it evokes all of that. He's got a big grin on his face. I love that kind of playful nature of the character. So like, there's just a lot with Tally-Ho for me.
Yeah, and I think the stormy sea background kind of lets Nightcrawler in like the bright red suit pop. Like where it's just like just from a very small glimpse of a card, you can tell he's on a pirate ship in stormy weather, and it just brings home the pirate theme and the Tally-Ho beautifully. Great choice, Joe. You got one for us?
Yeah. So I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's definitely up there. But I like. It's from N1GHTCRAW73R. It's a giant growth side scheme.
Ooh, okay. All right. Tell us about it a little bit.
That's one where he's like he's got the wheat field or something like that, right?
Yeah, he's walking through like the reeds or whatever.
That's
it's
funny.
Like
sorry,
that was one of yours, wasn't it? I think I remember seeing it on one of your villain cards.
At a time it was. So
it was. I think I remember looking at it, but last time I looked, it was gone. I was like, man, did I make that up? Okay.
It changed. So initially on my triple-sided N1GHTCRAW73R villain card, that was, I think, it was Cyberpath.
Okay.
So the Cyberpath side was that card, and I didn't catch that it was on a card already in the kit or in the scenario.
Yeah.
And so then when I was doing quality checks on stuff, I found that and I was like, oh, but I love it so much. Like, do I care? And then I realized I did care because the side scheme specifically says change to giant form.
Yeah.
So it feels really weird if the villain card has an image and then a side scheme comes in that makes you change to giant form that's not the image on the villain card. Like why would I? You know what I mean? So I was like, I have to change it. So I did change.
I thought I remember, dude. I'm so glad you brought this up. I was pumped to bring this up because I was like, I could have sworn it was in your thing for a minute. It was on a card.
Okay. But you know what I mean? Like, it's really awkward if I'm playing on Cyberpath and all of a sudden I get a card that says I have to change to giant, but the card that tells me to change to giant is the same art as the one that's on Cyberpath. It's like, what the heck,
Oh,
like,
it probably would have, but I probably honestly would never have noticed.
I don't
Honestly,
know. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
it's beautiful art though. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
It evicts like ancient Egypt somehow to me, like in like royalty in a way. I don't know, but it's just like, oh man, it is cool art.
But yeah, it's
Did you
from
say
it's one of my
evicts?
favorite runs. Wait, what word did you use?
Did I say I didn't use the right word.
You said
Evokes.
evicts,
Evokes,
not
okay.
evoke. I
Dude, I was like
that's
gonna
funny.
go.
I'm being thrown out of my house. Someone come
Sorry.
get me. It evokes.
thought it was
Thank
funny.
you.
But
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite stories from X-Men. I think it's not too long ago. Like Power of X, I think is what it was. But yeah, I don't know. I loved it. It was one of my favorites, and I remember that page like in my brain. So
It's
Hell
really it actually makes me think of it evicts. No, I'm just kidding.
dude, we should just use that word.
It makes me think of Thanos actually, and
Oh,
when
when
he's
like on his
like
farm,
the
When he's
farmer
being evicted
Thanos or
from
whatever.
his spaceship.
Yeah. He's like gets evicted out of his apartment.
Out of
You
the
know, it's like,
sanctuary?
man,
because he wants to sit
sad
on like
Thanos. Yeah.
on his farm and just like look
Yeah.
at a perfect world or whatever, a perfect universe.
Exactly. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like
That's what I was thinking
it's
of.
similar
yes.
kind of in a way, but just a different villains. But yeah, no, that's a sweet one.
Yeah, good choice. Good choice. All right, I'm up. I'm just gonna go with a quick one here. Star Shark. It's a flying shark. I don't
Literally
care.
on my list.
Yes,
Oh no, it
thank
isn't.
you.
No, it's not. I lied.
Oh.
Card Shark was on my list.
It
It's one of
evicted
my
something.
lower ones.
Card Shark, also similar vein. It's a shark
Yeah,
playing
yeah, yeah.
cards. Well, let's go.
It's a shark. Yeah.
Like sometimes
Star
you
Shark's
know,
good too.
this show, it keeps me humble, but it evicts me. I'm just going to use
Jesus.
evict in every
Dude,
sense.
let's just use it.
In every
But
sentence.
like,
Yeah.
like I see the analytics for our show. We're all like 30-year-old dudes playing a comic book card game, right? Like for the most part.
Mhm.
And so it's a little bit fun and it's a little bit funny and it's a little bit silly. And it's like, you put a flying shark on a card, I'm there. You put a shark playing cards, I'm there, And so nothing,
You
again,
put a
nothing
T-Rex in
astounding.
the game? Yeah.
Oh, heck
Exactly.
yeah, dude.
I mean,
Exactly.
All about that dino.
Yeah.
So sometimes just the pure fun and joy of a card just gets me going. And Star Shark
For sure.
does it for me.
Yeah, you
All
love
right,
Shark
Tony, you're
Girl.
up.
That's your favorite one, I think.
Ooh,
Well,
hey, I like Shark Girl.
kind of spoiled. I had one lower on my list, which was Card Shark, but we already talked about that. This is a weird one because I didn't realize how much I liked it until I was looking through the card. But it's actually Vulture, the Spider-Man Nemesis card.
Mm.
I don't know if you
Interesting.
guys.
Well, that's the old
Have
one.
any
Is that
rec-
the old guy? Is that the old? I can't remember.
He is an old guy. But
Yeah, okay.
he doesn't look particularly old in that image. I don't know if. Yeah, you guys might need to pull it up to even have any idea what I'm talking about. But it
Good
does
frame break.
it's a great frame break from a very early card where they didn't do a lot of that.
Yeah.
But also, like, it's a menacing version of Vulture. It's not just the old man in tights, Like I
Yeah.
think that's necessary. But also the colors are great. The glass going across the screen from the frame break is so cool. I don't know. Again, it's one of those that like it's everything together that makes it work so well that
Yep.
I didn't even realize it was as good as it is, and I'm a fan.
It is good. I mean, I'm a sucker for something busting through a pane of glass and sticking a landing. Like it evokes. I think I had making an
You mean
entrance.
Evix?
I now have to stop saying evokes.
Just kidding.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, like I had making an entrance where Daredevil, which Daredevil has a lot of glass breaking card art in this game, but I also had like making an entrance on mine because I just love the idea of busting through a pane of glass like Vulture's doing in this card. I think this is
Yeah.
the best glass busting card we have in the game. It's very good.
I
I
mean-
never really noticed it.
It probably is, yeah. But that's the thing is, again, it wasn't until I was looking through them like this, I was like, wow, that's actually really cool looking. Yeah.
Very awesome. Joe, you got one for us?
Okay. My second one. It's a campaign card.
Ooh.
I like.
Oh,
Tally
I don't know
ho.
why. No, I just loved it. Fell in love. No, it's Black Swan. I don't know why. I like
Dude, it is good.
Black Swan, what's that from? Where's that
It's
at?
from Mad Titan
it.
Shadow,
Yeah,
right?
Mad Titan. Yeah.
It looks kind of like I thought it was magic the first time I scrolled by.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, it kind of does look like her actually.
When I was like drawing my memory, like scrolling through cards, trying to remember some of my favorites or look at some of the card art closer, I crossed Black Swan like 4 times, and I was just like, man, that is such good art, completely wasted on a card I'll never
Yeah, I
use.
know, right? It's just like, dude, I just love how Ebony Maw and Black Dwarf are in the background. Dude, it's just I don't know, but I'm a big sucker for the Black Order.
I'm looking at Hall of Heroes at it right now, and it's funny because the The shawarma right next to it's pretty great too, but for totally different reasons.
I love shawarma. That's a great card.
Yeah.
Shawarma is pretty good. Yeah, you can't beat that, man. Yeah,
But no, I
it's a
agree.
bummer.
It's 100%. It's one of those cards I always remember because it was a campaign, but I don't ever get to use it. But I always loved that card.
Yeah,
That's
she got
cool.
Ebony Maw in the background. She's like holding a fiery skull in her right hand.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
pretty dope.
It's
pretty dope.
I like it.
All right, back up to me. Well, since we're doing campaign cards, I'll stick with the theme. The Odin.
Oh,
Kings,
the
that's-
actual like.
Yes, like you can't get them unless you play the campaign. Like
Yeah.
if you have like
the
the
king
prisoner
side,
Odin.
right?
Yeah, the king side is man's looking crisp, fantastic
Man's
beard,
looking crisp.
headpiece on point. He's not getting evicted, that's for sure, because that dude got money. He looks like he got money.
That's funny.
So,
Yeah, that's a good
fantastic.
one.
I just love that art.
Honestly, there's a
Yeah.
lot of good art from this.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Mad
that's
Titan
good.
Shadow too. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
All right, Tony, you're up.
I'm gonna go with the Shuri hero card.
I do love a lot of her
Shuri
art.
Black Panther hero card.
She does have a lot
Again
of
with
good
the
art.
colors, like there's something about the sunlight that's coming through on it
Yeah.
that, man, it's sad because I don't think that the artist, I looked into it to see if the artist has released the full art version, and they haven't. And so it's like, man, I would love to, especially since they don't do the promos anymore, I'd love to see that on a full art card just because it's just gorgeous. I love that one.
So much of her art is good too. Like
It is.
her helmet, Aja Adana. I mean, it's just all good stuff. So yeah, really great pick there. Totally agree. All right, Joe, you got one for us?
Another one already back to me. Dang.
We're going through.
Quick.
No, I always like the White Widow.
It's a classic.
That was a recent. That's not too long.
The new
Yeah.
one? Yeah, where
Yeah,
she's
the
like
new
up on the ceiling or whatever.
Yeah, and she's like cracking her
Yeah, that was
knuckles.
sweet.
I think is what she's doing. It's just.
Yeah, it's a great art. I love that
Yeah.
And
piece.
she just has surprise. I think we talked about it, but yeah, I love it. Just everything about it, honestly. It's cool.
I tried not to pick too much recent art because, like,
Did you?
well, you can. I don't care. But like I said, nobody wants to hear me dunk on Smooth as Silk and Arm Block anymore. Everyone's
Well,
tired
you
of
can
that.
talk about how much you like Smooth as Silk now because we're talking
No,
about the good stuff.
I haven't changed that much. My next one, I'm going to go with Mission Leader, which is the 2-cost upgrade. It's basically leadership, skilled investigator, but it costs more and everybody gets to draw a card. But it's got
Oh,
Cable
yeah.
just jumping through. It appears like he's jumping like through a glass ceiling and he's shooting a giant gun at somebody on the
He's
floor.
shooting a giant gun.
I love it. There's nothing bad about that. It's super good. All right, Tony, you got one for us?
Yeah, my next one is actually pretty recent too. It's actually the Mangog.
Mangog. Oh, that's
He's
from Loki.
From Loki, yeah. Again,
Mm.
part of it's the colors, but it's intimidating. It's intense. He's the one that gets, I think, like 10 per player hit
Yeah.
points or whatever.
Yeah,
10 per
10
player in
pod.
all groups or something, which I'm sure would be epic if you're playing in the epic multiplayer. Like that could be
Dude,
insane how many hit
Yeah,
points he
dude,
gets.
that would be painful.
But like he's so big looking on the art, and then like it's like almost rainbow sky colors behind him.
Yeah.
Like it's really good looking.
Yeah, like the red and the blue on either side of him, and then
Yeah.
the dude with the gigantic sword kind of just standing his ground from a charging giant monster. It's pretty peak. It's good.
It's sweet, man. I love that card. Yeah.
It is super good. I love it. It's kind of got I don't know. It kind of reminds me of like kind of Asian vibes, I guess. I don't know if that sounds weird, but like
No, it's almost kind of like a dragon,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
yeah.
very cool looking.
Chinese dragon.
I like that a lot. Joe,
He's pretty sweet.
Okay, this one's like an older one, I guess, but I like it's vigilante training. It's got
vigilante training.
it's a support justice card. It's got Daredevil and Elektra on it.
Oh, of course, it's Daredevil. Right?
Yeah, no, I have a lot of Daredevil ones I like. Honestly, it's bad. I have a few pulled up. I should just not.
And he's
that
on a
one's
lot of
fun.
art.
Yeah, dude.
He is.
But I don't know. I
I'm
don't know
not-
why that one I always like that one. Even though I don't use that card. I just use it just because I want to use Daredevil cards sometimes.
I like Daredevil like pointing at you. It looks like he's pointing at you.
Yeah.
I could give or take the art as a whole, but I like the Daredevil part of it.
Only
That's
you
good.
can be a vigilante.
Yeah, no,
yes,
it's just
yes.
It's
It's
just
Uncle
cool.
Sam vibes. It is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
So I know-
great.
That one's always just made me happy whenever I put it in my deck.
I don't know if
All
I've
right.
ever put it in a deck, but it is.
But if I did, I'd be like, wow, that's great art.
That looks good. Yeah. That's fun.
All right. My last one for my favorites has to be Ruby Quartz Visor.
God, that one was
Mm.
It-
wondered.
Yeah, it's It's peak. It's peak male fashion. If I could wear this to work, I would. Okay. I wish I could walk around with a sweet ass visor and a tight blue face skull cap thingy on. Because
that's a choice, man.
I don't have the jawline to pull this off, but if I did, I'd wear it. He looks pissed. I'm trying to think of who's the guy who plays the Mandalorian. Oh my God, I'm blanking. Pedro Pascal.
Pedro, yeah.
Yeah, like Pedro Pascal. Like he has the helmet on, but he can still somehow convey emotions pretty well, even from inside of a helmet in that show. You can tell Cyclops is pissed from this picture. Like he means business. And like the sun is like crossing the visor and kind of reflecting off the corner of it. Like, it feels like one of those like, I don't know, like cartoons where it's just like the sun rises and it's just like shing, and then boom. The onomatopoeia there is really doing the heavy lifting. But every time, again, it is another one of these cards where it's like the actual thing that it does with his kit, and like the art is just, it perfectly sums it up too. This is every time I get this card, I just stare at it for a minute. So it's my top one. That's all I had picked out. So I'll let you guys round out y'all's for however many you guys have. Tony, Go ahead.
I got a few. I'll just kind of some honorable mentions and stuff. There's some in the Deadpool set that are so fun. Like this card is fire, is so cool. Just the way the card's burning. I like Mulligan, how he's drawing a hand. Like it's dumb, silly humor, but it's fun. And then
it's the Deadpool same vein as Card Shark, right? Like it's just like, this is just fun. Yeah.
Or even the Deadpool hero with the extra text, like these zeros don't count, where he's writing out the extra. I don't even play him much, but I just think some of that art's really fun. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the head in the bottom corner for Daredevil is different on almost every card. I don't know if you guys have.
You're talking about Deadpool. You said Daredevil, right? You mean Deadpool?
Yeah, of course. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
For Deadpool,
oh my God, I'm just looking at this.
Yeah. So
that is so funny.
Yeah, the head in the bottom right corner is like he's looking up at himself, or like he's like
winking.
Yeah, he's reacting.
I did not know this. This is terrific.
It's the little things like that I think are just super cool with his kit and just the fun.
Oh, that's super cool.
I don't play him much either, but yeah, it's one of those things where like, man, I just love the way the head changes there.
That is super awesome.
Yeah. So
I'm looking at this now. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. So that's one thing. One thing I thought was really cool on the frame breaking piece was Gunslinger. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that card.
It's from Mojo's pack, right?
Yeah, from the Western set. But it's cool because the guy that the Gunslinger is facing, like his boot is covering part of the name box.
Yeah.
It's just, I'd never noticed that. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like the weird perspective on that of like, this is coming from like beside the guy's boot, like, I don't know.
Yeah, it is cool.
Interesting.
It's like you're like underneath the guy he's about to shoot's boot. Like you're right there in the action.
Yeah, so that was kind of interesting and different.
Yeah, I like that.
Falcon's Talon line is really cool looking.
Peak. That is such a good card.
Sorry if I'm stealing any of yours, Joe, but...
Oh, no, you're good. Mine are all different.
Yeah, and a couple more just to point out real quick. Riri Williams, I really like the alter egos, how the helmet changes in all three.
Yeah, I love that.
I think you guys might have brought that up before, but I was like, man, that's so cool.
Joe discovered that on our Ironheart episode.
Dude, I was doing it while we were talking.
That's what it was, right? Yeah, yeah. So I just think that's cool. And then I had a couple promo ones I wanted to mention briefly, but I'll toss it back to you, Joe, if you got anything else you wanted to mention first.
I think the only other ones I really had up there was the Hell's Kitchen Resistance Fighter, where Daredevil's leaping off the building, doing like
Hell's
a leap of
Kitchen
faith.
Resistance Fighter.
Wait, what?
Hell's Kitchen.
What's the card called?
Resistance Fighter.
Resistance Fighter.
Oh, okay. I was like, it can't be that long of a text on
No,
the card.
the Hell's Kitchen Modular, and it's Resistance Fighter.
Okay, I gotcha.
Okay.
I gotcha.
And then, what was it? The other one, I just like the Elektra from Taskmaster, the ally you get.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those are my favorites. Some of my
favorites. What did the Hell's Kitchen, that came in Civil War?
Yeah, Civil War.
It is really good. The Resistance Fighter art is amazing. He's doing like the Assassin's Creed video game where you jump off the top.
So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks so good.
That whole modular is pretty sweet looking. I see why you play with it so much.
Dude, I do. It's quickly becoming one of my most played modulars.
Oh God. Daredevil looks great on that mod set too.
No,
Man.
it does.
So yeah, I don't know if you. I know that I think Joe, you have a few of the promos.
Yeah.
The official promos.
Yeah.
But a few of them that are my favorites is Dropkick. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Dropkick promo.
Yeah, the one from Hulk, right? It is.
Yeah,
Hulk.
but in the promo, he's like pulling down the name piece and like swinging off it. It's cracking and it's just super cool. And then the Gambit and Rogue.
Oh yeah, the
alter ego.
The wedding
art promos are so cool.
Man,
you guys have seen how they stack together to be one.
They're getting married or whatever.
Yeah.
Those are.
And
I play double-handed sometimes with them just so I can have both the cards.
That's sweet. Yeah, put them and play one on the left hand of your playmat, one on the right hand of your playmat.
Exactly.
Right
I love it, dude.
That's sweet.
I love the idea of them like at their wedding and they're like, "Oh shit, Rhino's here," and I gotta stop and
flip the hero form.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, and actually, shout out real quick to Corbin. He actually took inspiration for that for his alt art heroes for them, and he used the same art on both of them, but like he shifted it so like Gambit is behind Rogue's name title, and then like pulls him forward as the focus on the Remy card. So it's like I don't know, but it's the two of them like setting up the dinner for their wedding or something like that. So it's kind of similar concept, but really cool that he kind of paid homage there. And then my last one, sorry, I'm taking so many of these, but
you're good.
The Wolverine alt art hero promo is really sweet too. The alt art one where he's got his claws coming forward and he's like,
he's tearing through.
Yeah, his like claws are in front of the nameplate and everything too. I always like that.
They're good. I love those promo cards, all of them, honestly.
Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah,
they're fun.
They do look good. They are fun. Well, cool.
Now,
all right,
do the worst.
Got to do the worst.
I'm just going first because I hate touched. I don't care. I hate it.
Touched is bad. Touch sucks. I was gonna leave that one for you because I knew it'd be number one on your list.
Dude, I can't. It's terrible. Just
honestly, Mystique doesn't look as bad as Rogue. Rogue looks like
they both look terrible.
Yeah, Rogue looks like I don't know, like a Disney villain or something.
Dude, I honestly, when I play Rogue, I take that card out and I put it away and I just use a token for my.
You just pretend,
Yeah, dude. I can't.
Do you have the buy the same token? Touch token,
I have that touch
simply for that.
And I just don't play with this card.
God,
I surprisingly don't have the BAMF tokens.
Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious. I didn't think about BAMF tokens. They have so many things now.
They do, yeah.
But that's my one.
Mine, I'm just kind of doing release order, I think, because this is how I opened them on my internet browser. But Pepper Potts looks terrible.
Dude, you always just want to dump on Pepper.
Her hand is weird. Like, who touches a wall like that? Like, I don't understand. Like, it's in the weirdest way. She's not hitting buttons or anything. I don't understand who does that. And like, her face is just kind of like really vague and smushed. Like, it's very unclear. I don't know what kind of sweater thing she's got going on there. It's not doing it for me. The art sucks.
It's funny because I think I'm looking at it and I think that I think it's similar to some of the issues I came across with the villains is like, that's not a cover, you know? Like, like a random small little panel. It's like, that's the best we got. So they just went with it. You know, it's like, I don't know. It's just kind of the way it is.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. They're like, this is like, it's either this or an even worse one. And they're like, all right, put her in there.
Yeah.
Good call. Tony, do you have a non-favorite? Yeah,
so there's this card. I don't know if you might not even know it. It's called Smooth as Silk. Oh, gosh. So I don't know if you've seen it, but it reminds me of that movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like they have the hot dog fingers. Like there's the hot dog fingers, and it just looks like she's got these hot dogs coming out of her hands. And I'm just like, man. So have you guys seen that one? Or
I don't think I ever have, and I'm definitely not on record saying that it's my least favorite art in the game. So
no, I totally agree. I think it's rough. So
thank you.
Yeah.
It's Joe. We've been there. I'm not going to talk about it here, but it's that bad.
It's more gross than bad, but it's also not great. But I think it's mainly just you know.
And it's just like the theme of the card doesn't fit. Like, why is she in some sort of interdimensional hot dog fingers universe? I don't know. God. I don't. Just sorry. I said I wasn't going to talk about it. I'm sorry.
And you didn't. I did. Yeah. So it's okay.
Vict me, Joe.
Okay, I don't even know if this one was on yours, Jesse, but I got Conditioning Room from.
Damn it, you took it from me.
Oh, did you, Gamora?
It's okay.
Dude,
Actually, you know what? I forgot to pull it up, so you get it. Yeah, it sucks so bad.
She got some.
Oh, that
nice,
is rough. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
That one's just, it's gross.
This is a bit off topic. Have you guys seen Ip Man?
What is that?
The movie Ip Man?
I don't think I have, Joe.
Yeah, IP Man. Yeah, okay. I didn't know that's
called
is
Ip
that
Man,
is it called Ip Man? Okay, well I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what.
Yes,
that's his
I've
name.
seen it, yeah.
Okay, because he does these epic like things with his version of martial arts. I forget what it's called. It's a specific. I'm blanking on it, but essentially he has these epic like wooden, pillars that he fights against to practice, and this is like a horrible rendition of that.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what she's doing, but like it's atrocious.
This is the worst version of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like she's like my daughter who like got into my wife's makeup and was like, "Look, mommy, I'm doing my makeup," and it's like now I'm gonna go dress up and fight with swords, and that's what Gamora decided to do.
It's funny because for most of these that are kind of rough, I instantly look down at the bottom of the card to see if it has an art credit, because if it doesn't, it means it's from the comics, and it's probably the same thing where this is like a small panel. Maybe there's like 12 different images of her training, and they're all tiny and not the most detailed, and it comes across when you blow it up and make it the focal point of a card. So
yeah, a big agree there. I've got one that does have an artist credit. I'm not gonna bring up the artist credit because this dude is probably way super talented. I can't draw for shit, so I really don't want to disparage him, but the art is prison camps is so bad. It's like that baby scares the shit out of me.
I remember that one.
I don't want to, like, if I came across this baby, like I'm grocery shopping and I see this baby, I'm leaving the store. It's got like weird eyes and it's like freaking me out a little bit. So yeah, for that, prison camps lands in the not good art category.
And I'm assuming mom also doesn't look great. She's kind of
It's because they're in prison, y'all. What's wrong with you people?
I mean, I've seen some handsome prisoners. Okay, it's so odd, and like her chin just doesn't look like her. Something about is like big uncanny valley type vibes. I don't know. That I cannot stand that art. All right, Tony, you got one?
Yeah. So the next one is kind of, it's everybody talks about it, but it can't not be mentioned. You guys might have been trying to, but it's the Winter Soldier one from Black Widow.
Yes. Yep.
The ally from Black Widow's kid. It's most of it's not horrible. It's not like inherently awful, but there's that weirdness of like his arms and like one of them doesn't quite fit. And it's like, where? I don't know. It's
Joe
like his arm
famously doesn't hate this card.
I don't hate it.
Well, it's funny because like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it's the worst of them, but there's something about how his arm almost melds into the gun, and
it doesn't look like a metal arm. It looks like he took like some ace.
It
bandages.
does look like a sleeve or something.
That too. Yeah.
And then like if you really zoom in on the mouth, how the hell do his teeth work like that? Like why are his teeth going that way? And
is this what you do? You just zoom in when you're playing? You're just, I'm
just trying to be honest here, Joe. This is a safe place.
Something about his face makes me think of someone from King of the Hill or something.
It's
weird, like, like, I don't know.
Pocket sand.
Pocket sand. This is Boomhauer. This is Boomhauer Winter Soldier. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm with you there.
Oh, God.
The next one, I think, is more of a personal choice than anything. For me is Ant-Man. I just don't like the suit they went with. As a counterpoint,
now, which one are you talking about?
What's that?
Which card? The actual
his hero kit. Basically, all of his art has, besides like resize, I think is a little bit different. And then if you look at the Ant-Man ally from the Wasp pack, he has a good suit, like a cool looking suit. The suit they have in all the Ant-Man art looks dumb as hell. I mean, it just is dorky. Like I get it. Like it's fine, but it's a dorky suit. And then so look at the Ant-Man hero, and then go look at the Ant-Man ally from Wasp, and tell me like that you don't think that suit looks like absolute crap compared to the Wasp suit. Joe specifically, I want to get your thoughts.
Okay, wait.
It's funny because I actually really like the art on the Ant-Man hero, the tiny size with like I think the perspective is done well.
Agreed. Big agree.
But yeah. But I guess if you're focusing on the suit, it's classic Ant-Man, but it is very different from like more modern takes on him.
So I don't read a lot of comics, and actually I don't think I've seen like the MCU Ant-Man movie, but just comparing it from other cards in the game with the Wasp ally, it's like I don't know. I guess
the Wasp ally is more like the MCU version.
The movies, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I think I agree it's dorky, but so there are a lot of costumes from the comics back in those days.
I guess,
So
Doesn't bother me because
True.
that's the Ant-Man I remember is the dorky
But on the
one.
other hand, that's interesting because I think in Champions in general, the art is intended to be pretty modern takes on stuff.
Yeah.
So I agree that I think it is kind of out of place because it's surprising that it isn't the most modern take on his suit and it's more of an old school, especially because this is a bit more into the comics, but Scott Lang is not our most traditional,
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man. It's Hank Pym, and Hank Pym's suit was typically more like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is kind of a weird,
Like
a weird
Hive
thing.
Mind and Resize have a more modern suit. It's like I wish they could have just found like I love the like you said the perspective of the giant and the tiny with the fingernails
Yeah.
and stuff. I
change
just
the
wish
suit.
they would have went with the modern suit. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Tony, you got one for us?
Yeah. So this is my last one I brought, and it's definitely my least favorite in the game. And I'm sorry to the artist, but it's Last Stand from the Scarlet Witch pack.
Yeah, I know this one.
It's so bad. It's Sif, and Sif is great, but not in that image. Like, oh gosh,
God,
I don't know.
That's
It's
great.
just
You're
so
getting
weird.
Joe to dunk on an art too.
dude,
I'm so
yeah, no.
excited.
It's just every time. I don't even know if I've played it because I don't want to put it in a deck. I don't want to see it. I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, and there's just nothing interesting else to like distract you from like the weird face she's making. Like it's just
Yeah.
all kind of brown background
Well,
stuff.
And her proportions are off too. Like the face is weird, but then
Yeah.
like she's too small. Like I don't know. It's just strange.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, and they have
I don't know.
if you go back to once again the Mad Titan Shadow, the Lady Sif card in the campaign. That's great. I love that art.
Oh yeah, it
It
looks
is,
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
It's like I don't know. She's
She's
kind of got like a Hunchback of Notre Dame thing going on. Like
She really. And there's also
weird.
her head is too big. Like
yeah,
it's like
yes.
this almost like what are those? Not Funko Pops, but like there's some sort of weird version of it's a bobblehead. It's like a bobblehead hunchback.
There's like no, there's no neck
What?
going on. It's just like
No.
they could agree. They could agree.
Yeah, not great.
All right, Joe, you got. Sorry, Joe, you got
That
one.
was terrific. Honestly, that was so bad. My last one is actually just the karmic staff from Adam Warlock.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's just a piece of wood sitting on the table. It makes
Yeah,
me
it's
sad.
a pull cue.
This
This is a pull cue.
Yeah, dude. I'm so
Abandoned in a
sad.
bar.
Yeah, dude. I'm so sad when I have that on my table.
I've never noticed, but it also looks like it's floating or like
Yeah, dude. It
about
just
to
doesn't look
fall.
right on the table.
Yeah. What is it doing? That is odd. Yeah, it's got to be
Is it
floating,
about
but
to
it's
fall,
also
or is it
sort of resting on the table. And then it's like, how do we make it look magical? It's like, put a dusty book by it. It's like, what? It's like, yeah, it means it's magic now. It's a magic stick. It's got a book. It's like,
It just always makes me sad when I play Adam Warlock. I was playing it the other day and I was like, dude, I'm putting this in there.
And you're not getting it out because it's a wild resource generator.
Yeah, no,
like,
it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
yeah, like the card art, they can't always do it, but it should sort of like explain to you what the card is a little bit. And it's
Like
just
I just wanted to. I wish Adam Warlock was holding it. Like I don't
Yeah.
know.
it's like, is this Blob's big old dinner table? Like, what am I looking at here? Like, is everybody done with
I'm
arts they
good.
don't
Yeah,
like?
those are all mine.
All right.
Yeah, that's
I'm
all I
gonna-
brought. I'm
I'm
sure
gonna-
there's
Oh,
more.
I'm sure there's
but
more. I
yeah.
totally forgot about Last Stand, but right when you said it, I knew it.
You're like, oh, that one.
That thing is gross.
Okay, well, I am going to just quickly dunk on a few more while I have a captive audience.
Do it.
Universal weapon? What in the Mickey Mouse fuck is this card?
What?
He looks like a chipmunk. It's like, is this Ronin or is this like one of his chipmunk underlings handing him his universal weapon? Take a minute, look up universal weapon,
Oh my
and tell me
God.
I'm wrong. He
I
looks
did it.
like
It's not great.
It's Ronin, but yeah, I think it's Ronin, right?
that's supposed to be Ronin. It looks like a chipmunk.
It's the chipmunk that's handing him his weapon. It's not
Yeah,
actually
exactly.
Ronin. Gosh, no. Yeah.
That's what, like for the longest time, I didn't even think this was Ronin. I thought this was just like one of his like squirrel friends. Like, here's your weapon, sire. Like, it's
Dude,
can't stand
my
that art.
God.
It looks dumb.
Jesus, dude.
From the same box, Vondarian Power Wand. That's just a shake weight. You can't fool me.
Oh yeah, dude. Every time
Nothing to
that's
really say about
exactly what
that.
I think.
No,
of,
but I think it's supposed. I think I've always taken that as an inside joke. Like
Maybe it is.
I don't know, just
There was
because
something-
like that whole set is like weird, random like things.
pieces of things.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've always
You-
taken it as like an actual inside joke where like, yeah, It's a shake weight.
I think you're right. I think I'm just not smart enough to get the joke. I think you're probably got a good point there.
And that's how I've assumed it, but maybe you're right. Maybe it's just like they accidentally made a shake weight.
Because I never liked the art on Frozen, but then the art is frozen, and then literally the flavor text is the cold never bothered me. It's like, that's peak. I can't knock this card anymore because it's literally an Elsa reference on a card.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the what is it, the Aragorn reference? Are you guys familiar with that?
Oh, I'm not.
In Valkyrie's kit?
No, I'm not familiar with this.
So if you go to Aragorn's the card her Pegasus, and she's like a big fan of Lord of the Rings, so that's why she calls it Aragorn.
I did not know that.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, I see it now. That's awesome.
But the line is actually one that she says it's quoting Aragorn, and it's actually the same text that's on one of the Aragorn heroes in Lord of the Rings. So it's like,
that is so cool.
Reference.
Oh my God. That is hilarious. A fearless beast. If by his life or death he can save us, he will. That is amazing.
Yeah. So it's like referencing, back to Lord of the Rings. So
yeah,
in multiple ways, the game as well as, of course, the horse named after.
Oh man, that's cool. Wow, damn. I love these little moments when you learn like these little inside jokes in this game.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's like the developers definitely have a sense of humor, which I love. Last two, real quick. Drax's knife. Drax has just banger after banger in his kit. Like, he has great art. Drax's knife is just not among them. I just don't like the face he's making. If he could just be making a less dumb face, the art could be pretty good. But
looks
don't
like
love it.
Like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle or something.
Yeah.
But in a
turtle
good way.
Vibes. I mean, yeah, maybe you're turning me around on it. I do love some TMNT. And then lastly is the Jubilee hero art. It's just so, like, I don't know, like blurry, not focused. I don't even know how to describe it, but the Jubilee hero art just, I think it bothers me more because she has cool art in her kit. Like her sunglasses, she looks like a cool, like, mall rat teenager and stuff like that, where it's like they could have done better than this. That's what I think what bums me out the most is, like, it's just not great art when it could be so much more fun.
I agree. It's not awful, but there's something, it's lesser quality than some of the other ones.
Yeah,
sure.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, that was fun. I had a lot of fun. But before we go, I want to give everybody a chance to say their hero with their favorite kit overall.
Magneto.
Damn it. No, I get to go first. Magneto. No.
No, I get to go first. Nightcrawler. Just
Well, Joe, tell us why Magneto, because I agree. I'll pick a second one.
Dude, I mean, you can pick it. I don't know. I do like all his cards. What?
All the cards except for the helmet.
What?
The helmet kind of looks like a toilet bowl.
You look like a toilet bowl. And I've seen you in person, so I can't believe you don't like the helmet. You know what? Go pick someone else.
No, I like the helmet. But every other card is an absolute banger.
Yeah, your favorite's Asteroid M, I know.
Okay, yeah. Not Asteroid M. But I mean, Master of Magnetism,
is awesome. Yeah.
Where he's disassembling the gun on Master of Magnetism is amazing.
I love all of it.
Yeah,
his
whole
cape,
kit is great.
his armor. I love him just sitting there, whatever. He's drinking tea and taking apart a claw or a little pocket watch.
Yeah, that alter ego's really good.
Yep. Armor and cape, we've talked about a bunch. Both just absolutely amazing artworks. And then everything else is at least serviceable.
I mean, Metal Shards is awesome. He's just shredding things. Like, God, it's cool.
Yep.
No, that's my favorite.
Tony, is Nightcrawler your pick, or do you have someone else?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. It's funny because I think he's like, it's one of those things where, man, I was kind of terrified before he came out, honestly. Like, you asked if I was disappointed when he did come out, and I wasn't. But I was kind of terrified ahead of it because I was like, man, I like the character so much that, like, please don't make him the next Valkyrie. Like, please don't make him the next, like I really want to like him. And I know a lot of people have had difficulty, making him work the way they want him to. I was playing an expert game the other day with him, and I was, essentially, if you ask what I've been playing recently, the answer is always Nightcrawler. The other day I was playing a game with him, and I started a phase, and I was like, oh gosh, this is not going well. I think I had 6 or 7 minions in front of me, and I was like, this is not going to work out. And then I defeated them all on the villain phase in that one turn, and it was just like, yeah, that was sweet,
beautiful.
And granted, I had a good hand to be able to pull that off, but it was just like, yeah, that was cool. There's ways to make him work really well in protection and a few other places too. But
I think one thing.
But I think, sorry, I'm talking about him as a hero again, not the actual art like we're supposed to be. But
on brand to get to talking about Nightcrawler.
No, for sure. So, yeah, I think his art's sweet. There's not a single one in there that I'm like, nah, that's not great. I don't enjoy seeing it. I think the Bamf card is not my favorite image of him bamfing. Like,
okay.
But I do still think it looks good. Like, so I don't know. I think across the board, he's pretty dang solid.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think one of the cards you see the most is Bamf, and I think they nailed Bamf.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I don't have as much experience with Nightcrawler comics as you, but I still think this is great art. There's some sort of dinosaur type thing in the top right corner while he's bamfing in or out. So I'm here for the Bamf art. Port and Punch is super fun. And then Scout Ahead gives me kind of Batman vibes, crouching on a gargoyle. Very cool. So,
and Teleport Drop is just sweet too.
Oh yeah.
There's just that. Yeah, I'm gonna drop you now.
Yeah, so, I love the idea of just.
And actually,
go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just his hero and alter ego. Even though I hardly use those cards because I've made my own alter ego that I really like, but they're really sweet too. I think the grin he has on his hero card is really cool. I don't know. Across the board, I think it's very fun and enjoyable to see all of them. I also am kind of a sucker for the color scheme. I like the red, white, and black, and then the little hint of pink behind his head and the small head in the bottom corner. I see the cards a lot, so
I didn't even notice the pink in the bottom corner. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. I just enjoy them. So
perfect.
But again, I'm just glad because if I didn't like the look of them or it didn't play well and I didn't enjoy the play style of it, that would suck.
That would be a huge bummer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give one honorable mention real quick, just because we both picked Magneto, me and Joe. And I know the winning hand would agree here, but I think War Machine, top to bottom, has really great art.
Yep.
I'm a sucker for big guns, just put down your gun card, play your other gun card. It's okay, yeah, heck yeah, dude. So I'm a sucker for that sort of stuff. Full auto looks amazing.
They're all pretty sweet, yeah.
So yeah, I really like top to bottom War Machine's got good art too.
One I actually want to mention, since I was doing homework this last week, was actually I really enjoyed some of Magic stuff.
Yes, agreed.
And one thing that stuck out particularly to me was actually the color scheme. And I know that's not the thing that you typically consider when you're looking at them, but just the glowing blue line through the middle of the card to show her sword. I just thought that was a really cool choice on the card design art. And I know that's different than the actual art on it, but that was pretty unique, I thought.
Yeah, the color combos in the line through the middle, it doesn't get a lot of, you don't pay attention to it a lot, but when you do, man, I agree. Magic has a fun scheme there.
For sure. There's not many that are inventive with that. And I feel like she's slightly leaning that way because it kind of glows, that blue is kind of it's two shades. It's a lightsaber looking thing, like her sword. So
yes,
that's just sweet. But
big agree. Yeah. Well, cool. Well, that was a ton of fun. Thank you, Tony, so much for coming on and talking art with us. I had a blast.
Yeah,
just going through all our arts.
You taught us some new things about art and stuff. It was cool. Like the Aragon thing.
Yeah,
that thing's just,
not the drawing.
I'm gonna go play Valkyrie.
Some of the other
yeah, not the drawing.
Again, you don't want to see that.
We're gonna have stay tuned. We're gonna have a stick figure drawing contest after this.
No. Yeah. No, thank you guys so much for the invite. It was a blast. I've really enjoyed the show. I think I'd mentioned in a email a long time ago just that I think it's been a very unique niche that you guys fill. And coming from a similar position as a dad that's busy with the life of everything else going on and trying to find time for a game of champions here and there, and just I don't know. There's something about we're all kind of in that similar stage in life, and I think it's I don't know. Again, you guys have filled that niche that I think has been a blast, and I've really enjoyed the show. So it's been great to get to join you guys this week.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
Yeah, we were super excited to have you on. I mean, I think one of the best parts about starting the show was just all the cool people. The more I got to engage with the community, the more just cool people I get to talk to.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
and definitely you among them. Just so many awesome folks out there. And we're just here for laughs and vibes, and I hope that resonates with people.
Yeah.
Just having a good time. Yeah.
Well, if that's it, Joe, you got anything else for the folks?
No.
All right, Spidey out.
Peace.